Hey everyone! Today we are starting our brand new unit on personal finance, and the first day of our new unit is talking about simple interest. So interest is when your money can grow. You can earn money on money that you already have, or you can owe money based on money that you already have. It just allows money to grow. Sometimes it works in your favor and sometimes it doesn't. And we'll go through more of those examples as this unit goes on. But today we're going to start off with the basics. And a lot of these questions have to do with percentage rates, interest rates, which are often as given as percent, but when you use them in your equations, they need to be in decimals. So this first example here is going to be turning percent into decimals. And as it says up at the top here, to convert a percent to a decimal, you have to divide the percent by 100, or move the decimal place 2 spaces to the left and remove the percent sign. So as I usually do, I will do one example with you, and part B and C are going to be yours to try on your own, and then check the answers that I will post in our usual document. So 1.5%, you can take this and you can either take that decimal place and move it 2 over to make it 0.015. Or if you go in your calculator and you do 1.5 divided by 100, then you get the same thing. 1.5 divided by 100, which is 0.015. Either way, you just turned a percent into a decimal. The second question talks about finding percentages of numbers. So I want to know what 4% of $200 is. That usually comes in handy if you want to know what, let's say you have like a discount on something at a store, you get 20% off. How much money off is that really? So here, whenever we want to find 4% of an amount or any kind of percent of something, that word of really just means multiplication. So I'm going to put that already there right away. We know it's going to be multiplying. Multiplying what? Well, whenever we see that percent, we want to turn that into the decimal right away. We just did that above. You want to move it 2 spaces to the left, or go in your calculator and do 4 divided by 100. Either way, you get 0.04, and the third number just stays the same. So 4% of $200 is 0.04 times 200. You go in your calculator and you get 8. So that ends up being $8. So again, try that with part B and C. So knowing how to do these types of calculations are the basis of interest. If you deposit money into the bank, you're lending the bank your money. And because of that, the bank can use your money to lend to others, and they basically pay you for borrowing your money. Not a lot, but if you leave your money in your bank account and you don't really touch it and it sits there, it actually grows interest. Again, not a lot. There are savings accounts that can give you more, but just your regular debit account does earn a tiny bit, certain number of cents per month. So there's some words that we need to know. Is the word principal here. This word principal is the value of the initial investment or loan. How much are you putting in to your bank account or whatever to grow? There's 2 types of interest, simple and compound. The more important one is compound interest because that's really what you use in real life, what bank accounts use, what credit card companies use. But we need to understand simple interest first before we move on to compound interest later this week. So simple interest is basically when you earn interest and it's only ever based off the initial amount or that principal that you put in. It's always a percent of that principal amount. So even though every month you may be adding more money into the account, your percentage is always based on the initial amount. Not realistic, but again, we need to understand how it works. So we have a formula here, and we like formulas because they're nice and easy to use. So this formula is I equals PRT. And we have the variables over here. So I is just the interest that you're earning. P is the principal, the original amount. R is the interest rate. And like we say, we always turn that percent to a decimal. And T is the time in years, right? So if it tells you months, we got to change it to years. So we'll do example 1 together, and then the rest is going to be on your own, and you can check your answers. So you deposited $1,000 into an account that earns 6% interest each year for 5 years. How much simple interest will you earn? Okay, well, off to the side, I think it's really important to label, there we go, your different variables that you're going to be using. So let's outline from this what are the numbers. So our P, our principal, is what the initial amount, which here happens to be $1,000. So P is 1,000. The interest rate that they tell us in the question is 6%. So we could write 6% over here, or we know right away we need to change it. So it actually becomes 0.06. And finally, we have how much time are we putting that money, letting it sit to invest for. And we got 5 years. It's in years, which is what we want. So there we go, 5. So now now that we have picked and chosen our important numbers, we can now put it into our equation. I equals PRT. When all those numbers are side by side, you end up, it's just multiplication, right? So 1,000 times 0.06 times 5. You get to put that all into your calculator. 1,000 times 0.06 times 5. And that means that you have earned $300 in interest. If you want to know how much money now you have in total, you can take that 1,000 and add the interest to it, and now you know you have a total of $1,300. And you'll see that more in some later examples when it says what's your total amount that you have. You just put them initial amount plus your interest together. So try them out and then check your answers.